Hello everyone! Today I will be going over my personal tier list of abilities to use in Bopl Battle. I'll separate them into 3 categories: low tier, mid tier, and high tier, and we'll be starting from low to high. Oh, and don't worry, I won't be considering combos for this video. This is just a tier list based on how they are by themselves, so I won't touch too much on combo potential. Maybe I'll do a separate video on favorite combos depending on how good this video does. So starting with the bottom tier list, we have the dash ability. I have it on low tier because it doesn't have a way to hurt your opponent, and it is somewhat unpredictable with which direction you will go when you use it, which has led to many deaths on my end. But it also never harms my opponents. Its only use is to reposition to get a quick shot at your opponent from an unexpected direction with another ability. Now up next we have the smoke ability, which is used to obscure what you are doing, which is nice, but it has the added effect of being flammable and will kill any slime that happens to be in the area if it is set off with certain attacks from you or your opponent. It's nice to use to ambush your opponents because they can't see where you're aiming, but it is also nice for your opponents because that cloud is explosive and they will use it to destroy you. I have invisibility on the lower tier list because it doesn't work that well at keeping you hidden from your opponent. You leave a slime trail when you move, even when invisible. Enough said. Next up is teleport. While it can be useful to get you out of a sticky situation, it is not very useful if playing against more than one opponent. If you teleport away from someone that's attacking you, chances are the other slime will be camping the area you'll be teleporting to, unless they're all attacking you, in which case they'll know where you'll end up and react accordingly once you teleport. Now lastly, for the low tier list, we have the drill ability. This ability is the wish version of the drill power-up from Mario Galaxy. Using this is guaranteed to leave you hurtling off the map while leaving your opponent unharmed. It is impossible to control and easy to dodge once you come out of the ground. Now onto the mid tier abilities that are decent enough and have some good uses. Firstly, we have Time Stop. I almost put this under the low tier list because of how long it takes to use. However, if playing in a game with more than one opponent, you may be able to get enough time to use it before anyone notices what you are doing. Once activated, it's pretty much GG, especially if you have the bow or mine power up. The game gives you plenty of time to get all of your kills lined up before time starts again, leaving your opponents defeated. However, this is useless in a 1v1 99% of the time. Next up, we have Platform. Platform can be very useful for maps that have very little ground to stand on, making it easier to get from one side of the map to the other. On the other hand, it is also a great weapon to use to crush unsuspecting victims in more tightly packed maps, letting you squish them with your platform you made. Just be careful not to do that to yourself once you're done with your creation. The engine is a very strange ability. It's not very useful for a direct attack, but it is very good at moving platforms either out of the way for you to attack with another power, or towards your opponents, forcing them to move from their current position. Or you can ride the platform across the map once you stick the engine onto whatever you're standing on. Tesla Coil is mid-tier just because of how long it takes to set up, and can be pretty easily dodged once your opponents realize what you're setting up. See, one Tesla coil isn't enough. It won't do anything unless you set it your second coil, creating a wall of energy that will fry anything that tries to go through it. But there are ways to deal with this, such as Blink Gun or the engine power-up. Grappling Hook is mid-tier because it relies too much on other power-ups to be useful on its own. And also, it's very unreliable and hard to tell what you will do when you use it. Sometimes you pull stuff to you and other times you're pulled towards what you grabbed onto. Maybe I just couldn't figure out how it worked, but I still find it useful because when it works, it does a very good job moving obstacles or dragging opponents into traps that you've set for them. Now we have Missile ability, which is very straightforward. You shoot out a missile that you can control with your mouse either at a slow but accurate pace, or you can have it launch forward at a fast speed in exchange of control. The downside, however, is that you cannot move your slime while using this power-up. The slime seems to be using all of its power to control the missile to the point where it doesn't even have the power to move itself out of harm's way. The rock ability can either be the best power-up to use or the worst, depending on the situation. Using the rock ability will turn you into a soccer ball that can withstand almost all attacks or will kill anyone from a single touch. The problem, however, is that you can't undo the transformation whenever you want, and instead you have to wait for the effects to wear off on their own. Not a problem unless you are on a slope, so a lot of the time you will just be left rolling off the stage and losing the round instantly. The mine is a useful weapon to use to lock down an area and keep your opponents away from it. Just be careful where you step once you place it because it will blow up if you touch it. Now we have the top tier power-ups. These are the ones you want to pick from. At least 2 out of 3 of your power-ups should be one of these choices. Remember, this is a personal tier list, so tell me what your list is in the comments below. I'm interested in seeing how my opinion differs from yours. First up on this list is the Shrink Ray. The Shrink Ray is very useful to limit your opponent's terrain that they are using and can be useful to use against their own attacks if timed properly. It is also useful to use to shrink yourself by shooting the water at the bottom of the stage to reflect it back towards you, making yourself a lot more difficult to hit. Just try not to hit your opponent with this, as they will be much smaller targets for you to aim at. Spike is a very useful tool to cut off your opponent's escape or to surprise them and get a quick win out of it when they aren't paying attention. You can also use this power-up to push another platform into an adjacent platform to crush your opponent. Throw is a strong choice for dealing damage. You rip out a part of the platform that you are standing on and hurl it at your enemy. Be cautious, however, because every time you do this, the platform that you are standing on becomes smaller, potentially leaving you stranded because of the use of this power-up one too many times in a single space. I'm putting the bow and arrow in this tier because it is very easy and straightforward to use. Just charge your bow, point at your opponent, and release, and you have an arrow flying right at them. It is a basic power-up, but it is very effective. The grenade is just slightly higher on this list because it is a slightly better version of the bow, because if you miss your opponent, you still have a chance to get them with the explosion after the grenade detonates. However, getting a direct hit on your opponent will detonate it instantly. Up next is Growth Ray. It does exactly what you think it will. Shooting anything with this will make it bigger, and this effect stacks as well, letting you make some objects massive if shot enough with this ray gun. Opponents hit by this are easy targets for your bow or grenades, but they will have bigger projectiles of their own, so don't overdo the Growth Ray on them. Gust is one of my favorite abilities in the game. This ability excels at pushing slimes off of the edge of a platform or squishing them between 2 platforms, or launching their grenade back at them. It has so many options and excels at so many things, making it a must-have for your loadout in my opinion. The Black Hole power-up is a massive tool to bring to the fight. It will destroy anything near it. Slime, projectiles, the platforms, everything. The only downside is you can only have one of these out yourself. Well, that and friendly fire being a thing. Push is a great ability to have, letting you move platforms around to anywhere you want to on the map to your advantage, and also the chance you squish your opponents with the terrain as well. Oh, and also it basically turns you into Kirby when you're using it on something small. Link Gun is the best out of the 3 ray guns. It allows you to momentarily remove the floor from underneath your enemy, having them fall to their doom, or you can hit them with it instead, leaving them unable to move or react, allowing you to set a trap for when they appear back on the stage. We are getting near the end of my list. These are the top 3 power-ups in Bopl Battle in my opinion. For number 3, I have the Roll ability. It basically turns you into Sonic, making whatever platform you're on into a danger zone. No slime will leave here alive if you use this on a platform that is occupied. The speed and duration is crazy, allowing you to go around multiple times at Sonic speed. Second, we have Revival. Revival gives you a second chance in the game. You place it down like the teleporter, but this gateway you place down will only be used if you are defeated in battle. It's basically an extra life, giving you the upper hand in battle. And for my number 1 favorite power-up, Meteor. This attack is so fast, it is insane. All you have to do is a small jump over an enemy slime and activate, recreating what Mario does to a Goomba and flattening anyone underneath you. It can also be used to go to a lower platform quickly to get out of harm's way. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and maybe even consider subscribing and telling me if you want to see a tier list for combos in this game as well. See ya next time.